friends, today I'm getting a jump start on postpartum by meal prepping 3 easy and delicious crockpot recipes. I've been cooking with my mom since I was a kid, and now as a mom myself, I know just how important homemade meals are, especially when you've got a newborn. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how I'm prepping, packing, and freezing all of these recipes for once baby arrives. And by the way, my postpartum freebie is now available and live and linked in the description below just for you. First up, let's label our bags. Since we are doing 3 different crockpot recipes, I am going to double them all. So we've got 6 total bags. We've got our sweet and sour meatballs, our Italian style meatballs, and a taco soup for the crockpot. So we are gonna label these up, and you can definitely buy sticker labels to throw on here. I just think it's easiest to use a Sharpie, and then you don't have to worry about the extra purchasing of stickers and whatnot. But if you want to do that, you totally can as well. So I always recommend to make sure you also put the cooking instructions. So low for 6 to 8 hours or low for 4 to 6 hours, whatever you need on there. And then also any nuances. If you need to shred the chicken before serving, you can do that. These I'm basically gonna serve over noodles. And then the taco soup, of course, will just serve by itself. So if you wanna make noodles separately or something, you can. Don't have to. You'll probably know when you take it out of the freezer that it's meatballs, so you need to make some noodles, but you totally can do that if you would like. I don't know if you guys have seen these bag holders, but I knew last week I made some chicken freezer bags in these gallon size bags, and I did not have these. And I was like, if I'm gonna be making any more of these, I need to order some because they're so handy. If you haven't seen them before, you just take your bag and then put it up in this little green clip, and it holds it for you. So these are gonna be awesome for what we're doing today. And I am making a double batch of each of our freezer bags so I can have one for my family to eat now before baby comes, just as like a nice meal prep that we don't have to worry about. And then also save the other one for postpartum once baby is actually here. And we are gonna make 3 different recipes today. So these first couple are a sweet and sour meatball and then also a Italian style meatball. And these will be ones that we just throw in the crock pot once baby is here, or even if you want to just meal prep these if you're not pregnant. These are great options because you just keep them in the freezer, and then whenever you need one, throw it in your crock pot and you're good. And we're also going to do a hamburger chili recipe, but since I only have 4 of these bag clips, we are doing the meatball ones first. All right, so to make this really easy on ourselves, we have our sweet and sour meatball ingredients over here, and then our Italian style meatball ingredients over here. So I'm also gonna separate my bags, so I make sure to put the right ones in the right bag. And I went ahead and just bought frozen meatballs from the store. If you would like to make your meatballs homemade, go for that, that's awesome. I just wanted to save a little time by buying them pre-made. So either way, do what you are more comfortable with. And we are doing a pound of meatballs in each bag. So I'm gonna throw those in first. And these ones for the sweet and sour meatball recipe are just home style meatballs. And then I did buy specific Italian style meatballs for the Italian meatballs that we're putting with the crock pot. Okay, I'll hold this one this time so it doesn't tip over. And then I already chopped up our onions and our peppers. And if you have watched some of my other videos, you know how much of a struggle I have had with cutting onions and not just like bursting out in tears. So my mom recently got me, it was just a few days ago, a nice chopper. I don't remember the name of it. It's a chopper to chop up your onions, and I did not cry at all. There were no tears, no burning, no nothing. So I'm just gonna use this chopper from now on and save my eyeballs. I also used the chopper on cutting up these peppers. So I have 3 peppers. I did 2 red peppers and then 1 yellow pepper, and just splitting these evenly in between our 2 bags. And all the recipes to these freezer meals will be linked in the description below. And then we need a can of pineapple for each, and we are gonna drain these. And the last thing we need for our sweet and sour meatballs is brown sugar. Now we'll take these off our stands, try and get as much air out of them as possible. And we want to make sure to freeze these flat so they sit nicely in our freezer. So that's why I turned it on its side, kind of tried to push stuff around. All right, one done, and we're gonna throw these in our freezer. All right, on to our Italian meatball style. Again, 1 pound of meatballs in each bag. All right, we'll pull all of our stuff over here. And I did save a little bit of our onion to put in each of one of these because I like the flavor of onion in like spaghetti sauce and Italian dishes. So if you would prefer to use onion powder, you can definitely do that as well. And then these are nice 32-ounce pasta sauces. And I got these at Costco. And we're just gonna pour a whole one in here. And then I'm also gonna do 1 can of tomato paste in each one of these. Because I like when my tomato sauce is not like super overly runny. I prefer it to be a little thick. If you don't want to do tomato paste, you definitely don't have to. I just always like adding it. Okay, now we will add all of our spices and then these are done. I like lots of flavor in my pasta, so we're gonna add lots of basil. About a tablespoon of basil in each one of these. And then we've got parsley, garlic powder, and you could do minced garlic if you prefer. All right, and we'll get these removed as well, get some of the air out, and then throw these in our freezer. And we'll make our last bagged freezer meal. And I know I mentioned it in the beginning, but if you are looking for a really handy meal prep guide on lots of recipes to make for postpartum or even just meal prep and throw in the freezer, I do have a free guide that includes 6 different recipes, a monthly meal plan breakdown, and a few other things. And then also I'm coming out with a larger workbook later this month that will have 40+ recipes, grocery list, it'll have some budget information, and just a huge resource that will be coming out soon. Not available yet, but the free option is available. So that one is linked in the description below. Okay, so the last frozen dinner meal that we are gonna be prepping for today is a taco soup. And although you could definitely put raw beef just straight into your crock pot and chop it up in there, since these are supposed to be super easy, all pre-cooked, all you gotta do is just throw it in the crock pot. We are gonna prep our meat beforehand. So I am browning it in our skillet. This also adds just like extra flavor too. I feel like browning it, even if you wanted to do that with chicken, I do just throw raw chicken in my crock pot for the chicken recipes I did, but just browning the meat just adds an extra level of flavor. So we are gonna go ahead and brown our hamburger now, and then once we go to eat these, we don't have to worry about, you know, getting the meat, making sure it's not raw in the crock pot. It's already ready to go, and truly you won't have to worry about dishes. Truly, it'll just be a grab and go, throw it in the crock pot. Only thing you'll have to wash is bowls, spoons, and your crock pot. So we are making our hamburger. And while our hamburger continues to cook over on the stove, I'm gonna go ahead and throw our canned goods into our bags. So I've already drained our black beans and our corn, so we can go ahead and just throw that on in. And again, the link to the recipes I'm doing today will be linked in the description below. So make sure to check those out so you can make these at home yourself. And one thing I forgot to add in the very beginning when I was initially writing on our bags was that for the taco soup, we do need 4 cups of either chicken broth or beef broth once you go to put it in the crock pot. So I did add that before I started filling these and put these on here. I added that to my bag. So I would just recommend writing with your Sharpie when adding to crock pot, add 4 cups of broth. And it can be chicken or beef. I've done it either way. It's ideally you would use beef, but really chicken works just fine too. I've done that before and you can't tell the difference. So either one would be great. And then last for our canned goods is 1 jar of salsa in each bag. It smells good. Perfect, and that is all we need for our canned goods. So we're gonna hop back over and finish cooking our meat. Our hamburger is looking really nice and brown, so we're gonna go ahead and add our seasonings. I have some onion powder. Usually I do raw onion in here, but since I don't have that right now, I'm gonna go ahead and just add onion powder. And then since this is a taco soup, we are gonna add taco seasoning. And I made 2 pounds of hamburger in here, so we need 6 tablespoons of taco seasoning. And we'll add in 1.5 cups of water. We'll stir this around really good, and then we'll let it simmer for about 8 minutes. All right, our timer went off, so let's look at our meat. Oh, it's doing good. All right, since this is really hot, I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of minutes, kind of cool down, and then we'll put it in our bags. All right, let's package up our meat. And I'm gonna try and just evenly distribute this throughout both of these bags as best I can. So I'm not gonna measure or weigh or anything. I'm just gonna try and be like, oh yeah, this looks like half, because there's one, or I browned 2 pounds, so we're gonna put 1 pound in each bag. Also, I just gotta say, I'm so glad I purchased these bag stands. And I'll be honest with you, I purchased them last night because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have some of these bag stands if I'm gonna be making some more freezer bag meals. One nice thing about living with lots of Amazon facilities in the area that they can deliver overnight for free if you have Amazon Prime. That was really nice. I highly recommend if you are gonna be meal prepping a lot of freezer meals to also get these bag clips. Otherwise, you're gonna need a second person here holding the bag open for you. And you know, if you have kids or even get your husband involved, they can do that part for you, but these are really nice. And since the meat is still really hot, you can probably see the steam on the bags. I'm gonna let these sit out and cool before I zip them up and put them in the freezer. Move them to the side. This is also really hot, so I'm gonna let this cool over here before I start washing it. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. And I know most of you have already left me, but if you have made it all the way to the end, I truly appreciate you. I did get my chopper out of the dishwasher. Earlier when I was talking about it, it was in the dishwasher. So I just wanted to show you just real quick, but you chop here, stores down here, and then it has this nice little piece, silicone piece that comes off to help you clean this so stuff doesn't get stuck in between the grooves, which I just think is awesome because that's my least favorite part to clean out of like anything is in between these tiny little holes. So anyways, so quick, but now that I have it out of the dishwasher, this is what it is, and I'll link it below. If you have issues with like onions making you cry really badly, I recommend getting one of these. And shout out to my mom because she got it for me. All of the recipes will be linked in the description below. I hope you find these as helpful and as delicious as I know I do and my family does. Make sure to check out, I have a whole playlist of prepping for postpartum and meal prepping, so check that out here. Don't forget my workbook that is for free in the description below. And then also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks y'all, bye.